Welcome back to Colette and Matt have entered the chat. It's a weekly conversation about video games, and this is episode 224. Happy Steam Next Fest. Happy Pokemon ZA, whatever that game is. Happy Ball Pit. My name is Matt Silverman, joined as always by the one and only Colette Bennett. Hello.
Hello. I can't believe you just ripped off my fit like that.
Your fit?
My outfit. You just ripped my fit off.
See, okay. You just schooled me because despite having a middle schooler in my house, we are very honed in on the slang and the youth. And we've heard fit, but I didn't realize it was outfit.
It's okay. It's okay to not keep up with the slang. To be honest,
I thought fit was like, oh, my vibe, my style, my fit, my general like clothing style vibe. But now you're making it clear that the fit is the clothes themselves.
Here's why I don't buy this, because you, a lover of K-pop Demon Hunters, you do not have fit check from my Napalm era tattooed onto your brain, which you should.
That a lyric? Is that a lyric in one of the songs or what?
Fit check from my Napalm era. It's kind of a legendary line.
It's in one of the rap sequences, right?
It is. It's in the Dun 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 song. Speaking of quick ADHD brain bring, it's coming back to the sing-along is coming back to theaters again for to make more money, but also for Halloween.
They are ridiculous for only putting it out one weekend, because it's like the biggest thing in the world, and it was like, it's now or never, get your tickets, and we went, and then it's gone.
I went too.
Yeah.
I think they did that because they were like, okay, people love it, but like, how many people are going to show? And then a lot of people showed and they made a lot of money. And then they were like, well, okay, proof of interest. Like, I mean, I feel like the proof of interest is there because it's like Netflix's most popular thing of all time. But I don't know why it was limited. You know,
you have to know it's the biggest thing in the universe. Now, there's a rumor in my house, so in the neighborhood, and I'm hearing this from children. And every time children tell me something about media, I'm like, what's your source? And they're just like, I don't know, YouTube. But multiple children in my orbit, some of them biologically related to me, others not, have told me that the live action K-pop Demon Hunters movie has been canceled.
Well, I don't know if it really existed in the first place, but there was news, although there is an AI dupe of like the behind the scenes recording of the movie. And unfortunately, it's quite good. I'm sorry to say. I knew it was fake, but it's still well done.
Meaning it's like AI generated video of the singers singing the songs in the studio or something?
No, it's like AI behind the scenes of like the Saja Boys and like Huntrix, like, and it's like actors and actresses portraying them and they're in their costumes. It's very real looking. I'll send it to you.
But is it like showing them in a vocal booth doing the VO for the animation, or it's them being
like back scene kind of stuff, like getting their makeup done,
as if they were shooting for the live action movie. Okay, now I understand. Okay,
exactly. But no, I think I don't know who it was, but it was circling around this week that either a producer or director said it would just be incredibly difficult to pull off a lot of what they had done in the animation, and they really they were talking specifically about expressions. I think they've talked about how they wanted to show young women. They didn't want young women to just be poised and pretty. They wanted them to be goofy and awkward, and they wanted to have moments where they made like stupid faces and stuff like that.
Which also is there's an anime quality to it in the way that a lot of the characters express, and so like obviously you can't replicate that in live action, but like there's ways you could do this. Come on.
I think there's ways. It's two things. Either one, they're like, no, we're not going to do that, which doesn't make any sense financially. Or B, they are doing it and they want to keep it a secret as long as humanly possible.
But just to back up, because I truly don't know, are you saying the rumors about the live action thing were spawned from the AI bullshit, and
I don't know.
and it was never confirmed, but we assumed it was true.
I don't know because I don't spend a lot of time on social media anymore,
Right.
but I know that I saw the clip and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's really good. This is clearly fake. I mean, it was tagged AI. So I was like, okay, this is not real. And then I saw a report somewhere this week, Rolling Stone or somewhere like that, that was like, sorry, there's not going to be a live action movie.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
so although this is nowhere near as exciting, I realize to a lot of people, but it is to me. EJ, the vocalist and performer who plays the main role in K-pop Demon Hunters,
Mm-hmm.
is
She's Rumi?
she's Rumi.
Okay.
Uh she's actually K-pop trained. She was going to be with SM Entertainment, and then she decided to change her trajectory and become a
Mm.
producer instead.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
but due to this enormous success of the soundtrack, she has decided to release a song and maybe
Cool.
an album. I don't know.
That's so
So,
cool.
her name is EJ. That's the
Yeah.
name she goes under, and she has a single coming out. So I'm really excited about it because I really
They
love
all
her
three of
music.
them were on Jimmy Fallon, which
Jimmy
I don't like
Fallon.
watch with any regularity, but the clip
Mm-mm.
popped up in my YouTube feed, and I was like, oh wow, and I watched it with the kids. Obviously, they're extraordinary, but and then the other thing that you probably know, and I'm not sure, like the voice actors who do the dialogue are different performers
Mm-hmm.
than the singers. Is that right? Because the
Correct.
singers are not actors.
Correct.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Nope. You know, the performers that you saw on Jimmy Kimmel are the singers, but there
Yeah.
are completely different voice actors for the
Right.
voices.
Right.
Yep. And I think
Uh,
it's the same for the Saja Boys, if I'm not mistaken.
That makes sense, and that's historically, I think, to have a virtuosic singer also be like an amazing and lovable act is that would be so rare. That every Disney movie you've ever watched has always had secondary singers, at least in the early days in the 90s and
For
stuff.
sure. For sure.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
we should clarify for listeners and viewers because we kind of gloss right over it into K-pop land. We're on video. You can watch this on YouTube now. Our faces are here. And thank you to our listeners and community members who hopped over to the YouTube version to leave comments. And I haven't even shared them with you yet because like you are not logged in under the hood of the YouTube channel.
Mhm.
But some lovely comments from listeners and viewers, which
Aw.
then those kinds of actions trigger the algorithm to like show the video to new audiences. So I think we are on the verge of reaching some new folks, and what I'm saying to listeners is that your likes and subscribes and comments are very helpful there. But
Yep.
what I'm actually trying to say is that Colette and I are wearing very similar shirts, and that's very coincident. So when she said I'm jacking her fit, and I learned all about the slang, that is what she's talking about.
Oh, you're right. Oh my God. I'm glad you remembered because I literally just started there as if everyone could see us. I have to
Right.
stop doing that. I'm not used to this. 200 and plus episodes of not having to think about this.
Oh, you know what I meant to do? Now I got to do this live. Okay. Let's say each of our episodes is let's average them at 1 hour and 25, no, 1 hour and a quarter. Let's say 1 hour
Okay.
15 minutes, because some are hour and a half, some border on 2, and some of them are maybe a little, right. So let's say it's 1.15 hours times 224, which is this episode. That's 257 hours. So that, let's call it 260 hours. How many days is 260 hours?
Oh, wow.
Okay, so if you have listened to every episode of this podcast, you have spent almost 11 days with us. And that's not just like waking hours days, that's like
All
24-hour
24 straight
days.
hours.
Yeah. So
24 straight hours. And
thanks for being here.
speaking of listening, I have to just give a very quick shout out to Widescreen John, who has been in our community since
Yeah.
the beginning and who is also an original Retroforce Go listener. So he's been around in my spears for close to 20 years. He went on a little Warframe tour this last couple weeks to visit friends that he's made through the community. And one of his pit stops was here, which was amazing. I
Nice.
got to spend the whole evening with him, and he had Destructoid memories that I had completely forgotten. So like that was really, really cool. But it really, not to be cheesy, but it just made me so profoundly grateful for, you know, the experience of being able to podcast over the years and just talk about things that I love so much with fellow friends who love those things so much. So yeah, just had to holler out on that. And also I've always marveled over John's work with the
It's so
Warframe guns
good.
that he
I love it.
creates. And I have to say that the photos do it no justice.
I believe
Seeing
that.
those guns in person and holding them, I've never played Warframe in my life, but like
Yeah.
seeing them and holding them was just absolutely incredible. Also, John kindly brought us the biggest Hershey's Kiss I've ever seen, which is the size
Nice.
of my head, and it is over there.
Dark
But
chocolate or milk chocolate? What are we talking
it's
here?
Hershey's. It's
It's
milk. I
Hershey's,
mean,
it's milk.
right.
Yeah.
It's the classic. I
It's
mean,
too
I'd get
sweet
up
for
and show
me.
it to you, but it would literally fill up the entire screen. So
Amazing.
anyway, we had an amazing time, and it just made me reflect on how lucky I am. So I know it's cheesy, but
It's not
thank you,
cheesy at all.
John, for
Shout out to
caring
Widescreen
for many
John.
years.
If you want to see, I know it's a lot of 3D printing and it's all custom crafting. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
his entire process, but I have enjoyed kind of chatting with him about it and tuning into his Twitch streams every now and then. And as a
Mm-hmm.
player of Warframe, it remains my most played game on Steam, despite having played
Really?
many, many other games. Yeah, because it was an obsession of mine for maybe 2 straight years. And it's the kind of game that you can it's just one of those games where you are just grinding forever in a good way. So it was very much my podcast game for a very long time. I think No Man's Sky is going to surpass it eventually because I haven't touched it in a while. Anyway,
Hmm.
as a fan of Warframe, I just appreciate the work that he puts into these things, these projects. And if you would like to see some of them, I don't have them queued up here, but
We
you
can put a
should
link in the show
we'll
notes.
put a link in the show notes and you should go into our Discord. If you're listening to this, you've probably seen some of his work. It's awesome. So shout out to John. I hope that he's off or he's gone already. Like he's left your area.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he went to his next meetup with. I was the only non Warframe buddy, I think, on his circles.
I
Was
assumed there was a
pretty.
convention in Atlanta or something that he was attending or something, but maybe he's just
He
visiting
did. He
friends.
did a drive that went through multiple states. He's actually still on it.
Sweet.
But yeah, we just talked about fandom and community and how great it is to connect to people who, even if they don't love the exact same thing you love, it doesn't matter. You can
Correct.
still, yeah. So anyway, it was a great night, and we showed him Korean barbecue for the first time, which was really cool. And he had
Ooh.
kimchi for the first time and sake for the first time.
Oh wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
I don't
awesome.
think I've ever had sake. I have historically not been an alcohol drinker, though I have
Mm-hmm.
started taking to like wine every now and then, and I do
Mm-hmm.
enjoy that. But yeah, I should try sake.
It's delicious.
Yeah. All right. All right. Mental note. Let's talk about some news. We have a couple interesting stories. We're not going to cover like Battlefield 6 or anything else that's going on in the
Because
AAA
we don't
space right now.
we don't we
It's
don't
just
care about
not
that.
relevant.
This is not the podcast for AAA releases unless it's Nintendo. Quite
Not
honestly,
necessarily. Not you.
not really.
Occasionally.
Every
Let
once in a while. I mean, I would call Silent Hill a triple
yeah,
A
for sure.
release, but
Uh, you put this in our Discord here, and I'll switch on over to it. Netflix has announced that it will be bringing. I don't know how we want to call this. Like, let's call them non-mobile, non-app store games
sure.
to its service in a proper way. And I don't mean proper like good or bad. I mean like when Netflix was saying, "Hey, we're going to be a game company," everyone was like, "Oh, we're going to stream games on netflix.com or Netflix on your TV." And that's not what they did at all. as we've discussed a lot. And I think that was a smart and good choice for a variety of reasons. And now, finally, multiple years later, they have said that, hey, we are going to bring actual video games into the platform directly. And I think their choices here are also very interesting, and I find them compelling for a couple of reasons. So why don't you found this originally, and we talked about it a little bit in the Discord. What caught your eye here? I mean, we've been talking about this forever.
Well, so a couple years ago, or maybe it's been 3 years now, I'm not sure, but I was keeping an eye on this because I believe that Netflix had the infrastructure to offer games, and I know that I think the main reason that they are not pursuing it in a more dedicated way is because they know A, that it's a really big project, B, they know that there's other people in the space that are already
Right.
doing it. um, and I think that they've always kind of hedged their bets on how to very carefully do it versus like, we're going to be just like, Game Pass, or we're going to be just like, like they just don't see the point in that.
And I wonder if they have the same infrastructure as these other companies. Maybe
Actually, that's a good point. That's a good point, because
streaming
streaming games
streaming
and streaming
video
movies is different.
it's different, and I'm not an engineer,
Yeah.
but I understand enough to know that, like, playing a video game at 60 frames per second without latency uh, in layman's terms, a video knows what it is. So a video can queue up and buffer, and the audio and video can be in sync, and the app can say, okay, depending on your connection, we're gonna get this video ready, and then once it's loaded, we will play it, and it will stream, and it will look pretty much amazing.
Yep.
Every frame of a video game doesn't know what the next frame is going to be because the player decides what that frame is.
That
So
is
that
true.
is a radically different streaming architecture than video.
Very good call. Very good call.
So I
That was
don't
a
know
generalization on
what
my
I don't
part.
know that Netflix has the server farms and or the relationships with a whatever, an Azure or a AWS, because those companies are in competition with Netflix
Right.
in this realm. So I literally don't know, but I think
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. And I think, as I've reported on it in the past, we've continued to kind of watch what they've done and been like, okay, so if you have a Netflix membership, you can play these mobile games for free, but a lot of them were games that were already out. And so we were like, okay, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, we're always confused by the moves they were making. Then we found that they had an app, which I don't remember. I don't think it was heavily advertised at all, that you could download and was like a controller where you could
Right?
like use your phone. And we were like, oh my God, this has to be for,
And then
you
nothing
know,
happened with it, right?
nothing
It just came
happened
and
with
went.
it.
It's still in the App Store,
It's still,
unless
I have it on
you
my
have.
phone. It's still there because I was like, oh, this has to be for a reason. This has to be for something.
Yeah.
So, what I think is really interesting is that this, first of all, that obviously they've been toying for years and years trying to figure out what might work. And this is an approach. The first thing I thought of when I saw this article was about the way that Nintendo approached the Wii and how they thought
Mm.
about
Mm-hmm,
how
mm-hmm.
can we appeal to people who are non-gamers.
Mainstream
So,
accessibility of games. Yes, I totally.
mhm.
That's a great analogy
And
there.
I think they started in mobile because I don't know what the percentages are for this year, but they have been getting higher and higher. The percentage of people playing games on mobile, I think it's
Yeah,
already crossed 50%.
I think
So,
I think their mobile strategy is excellent, and
yeah.
I wish that it extended to other gaming ecosystems.
Mhm.
I'm sure we've said this before. I'm trying to think of example. Moonlighter was a game that they licensed
Mhm.
for mobile. Um, just let me download Moonlighter from Steam and log in with my Netflix account to play that for
Right.
free, if assuming I
Right.
didn't already own it. And obviously licensing and platform holders, this is all different. So they went mobile first, but like, and I say this all the time. Speaking, we just talked about Warframe. I cannot just open up Warframe on Steam and start playing. I have to log into the
Mhm.
Warframe account, a third party account, to play the game for
Yep.
free.
Yep.
And that's how authentication works. And I don't see a logistical barrier for them to do that. So I loved the idea of accessing. I'm always going to have Netflix. I mean, never say never, never say always. But like for the foreseeable future, this household will have Netflix. So to get all these extra games that my kids can play without ads, rules. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's totally awesome, and I think it's been a no-brainer for a while, but this move is interesting to me because rather than try to capture the mobile market, this is trying to capture what I think of as like the family at home market, or
Correct.
really it could be even you and your friends at a home market,
Correct.
found family.
The party
But
game, the couch co-op experience, whatever.
right. And Greg Peters, who is the co chief executive officer in this article, said, he said during a conference in LA, one of the gaming areas they're going after is social gaming experiences that can show up on your TV. So
Yep.
the games mentioned are all group games: Boggle Party, Pictionary Game Night, Lego Party, and Tetris Time Warp. So all of those are going to be some things that you can play with folks together, and they're all going to be my guess, although he does not mention it here and I have not gone digging, is that if you have any interaction, you might use your phone for
Yes.
the interaction, because that is a really easy and popular way to play games and you don't have to worry about a controller.
Now, are we assuming
Oh
that, or
no,
was that
actually,
discussed?
no, I'm so sorry. It says right here, with the new game, subscribers will use their phones as
Great.
controllers, but much of the play will be on the big screen. So
Yes.
I apologies.
That was no,
He
and
does
that
say
but
that.
that was the part of this, because the games you just mentioned are of mixed interest to me and perhaps to our audience, meaning they are they are I don't mean casual in a negative way. I mean, like, if I'm going to play Boggle, I'm just going to play Boggle on my phone or whatever. Like, so I like the idea of like opening up Netflix and everyone log in with your controllers to play Boggle. Who fucking cares? But Lego Party, which is like a brand new game,
A brand
which
new
is a
$40 game,
a
which is
$40
free
game.
through your
Uh,
Netflix
it's
subscription
it's
when
a
you can play it.
by all accounts, it is Mario Party without Mario characters, and arguably, as many people are saying, it's better because it removes a lot of the randomness and the bullshit that comes with Mario Party, according to
Mhm.
some reviews. So people are really digging Lego Party, and now you just at some point in the future, you just open up Netflix and you're playing Lego Party with your family because it's a board game. And this dovetails into another reason why I found this exciting, is because um, I think the Jackbox game experience is so excellent and
It
innovative because it
is. I love
also
it
uses
so
a phone
much.
as your controller. They're such good
Hmm.
games, and nobody needs a game controller. And to your point, non-gamers can it's just so easy to play. And
Hmm.
then recently my family and I finished Sunderfolk, which it
Oh, you
is
did?
I've talked about it here and I just want to rave about it again. It's and spoiler alert, it's going to be on my game of the year list, and it's going to be very
Ooh.
high, TBD on the rest of these games that we're currently playing. But
All
uh,
right.
this game is so well made. It's so like excellent, and a 9-year-old who wants to just shoot everything in Fortnite, a 12-year-old who is, loves D&D but can't be bothered to like hang out with her parents necessarily. Me, you all know me and my gaming proclivities, and my wife, another 40 plus year old person who has zero experience with tactical tabletop RPGs.
All
Zero.
enjoyed it.
Every single person in that room not only enjoyed it, fucking obsessed with it, and had to drag me back into the campaign every night because we're like, can we play Sunderfolk? Can we play Sunderfolk? And the
Ah.
reason is because it's Dungeons and Dragons tabletop RPG, but incredibly accessible because you just pull out a
Hmm.
phone and you're like, look at this. And I expected there to be jank and lag and blah blah blah. and there is nothing. You're touching your phone and you instantaneously see the
Yep.
things happening on the screen. And I'm floored by the engineering of this. And I guess what I'm trying to say is we're looking at this announcement. It's like Boggle and Pictionary. Who fucking cares? But I want to see Sunderfolk and Lego Party and
Yeah.
um, rich sort of board game, tabletop, Jackbox experiences. I want that to be boom, front and center, right in my Netflix For You page. That fucking rules. And that would keep me subscribed to a Netflix account. That would get me to pay $3 more for a Netflix account
Right.
if I could be playing $40 games with my family for free. Let's go. No setup, no console, no hey, I gotta set up the PC for this.
Yeah.
This is so cool. And
It
I guess
is.
I'm putting a little asterisk here, which is like they got to do it right. They got to do it the way Sunderfolk did, because that is I'm blown away by that.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I did, and I don't know if I told you this or not. We did play it once,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember. I think we played it long enough, and then I got tired, and I had to like give up and go to bed. But I want to, and this is just the demo. I haven't bought the full game yet. I
Yes,
want to
yes.
play again actively, and I have
Mm-hmm.
mentioned it to Patrick several times, and we just haven't been able to align schedules to get it done. But
Yep.
I am definitely going to buy it when we have more time and when I'm finished some of the stuff that's in my current stuff I really got to finish before I buy anything else.
It is a game, it's a game you have to play with others. I don't think you can play it solo, but it kind of defeats the point to play it solo.
Yeah.
And you need to say we are sitting down for an hour to do the next mission, and that's what that's all about. But I was recommending it to another family member a weekend or two ago, and it kind of crystallized of like, hey, if Baldur's Gate 3 was too much for your partner or your household or your kids,
This would
this
fit.
is Baldur's Gate 3 light in a really
Yeah.
good way.
And Baldur's Gate 3 was too much for me, in all honesty. So maybe that's why this was such a good fit. But meanwhile, Patrick is still noodling away with it and playing with it.
I
He was
saw
playing
him
it like a
playing the other
day
night. I was
ago.
like, all right, all right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I can absolutely see why you praise it so much because I've continued to think about it even after just one go.
Yeah.
But anyway, so TLDR, excited to see Netflix do this. And actually, I noticed one other thing in the article that I glossed over,
Mm-hmm.
which basically says, uh, that Netflix thought that offering games for free on mobile would attract a lot of users, but since the company's not a destination for video games, enthusiasts play elsewhere. So now this is kind of like, this is the pivot is what this actually is, which
Man,
I think is a good thing.
I'm so interested in this because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm sorry to break this to you, listeners. Telephone games are popular. People are playing video games on their phones all the fucking time. So for you to tell me that free games, free like free casual games and free like Dead Cells, Moonlighter, Civilization 6, like these are awesome games.
Mm-hmm.
To tell me that you are giving that Netflix is like, hey, here's free games, and the world is like, meh. Like that's very interesting to me. I especially because like, oh, is it a marketing issue? Yeah, maybe. But when you open fucking
Um,
Netflix, you go on your TV and it's like, hey, want to play a mobile game? Hey, I'm getting notifications on my phone that's like, hey, want to check out this game? All the time. You have a huge audience of people you can push notifications to. How are they not realizing that they can get these games?
it is only my one user opinion
Mm-hmm.
that if I went to my TV after this podcast was over, turned it on, opened up Netflix, watched maybe an episode of a show or something,
Right.
And then instead of going, do you want to go to the next episode? It said, hey, you want to try a brand new game? Just pick up your phone and turn it sideways. I would do it. To
Yeah.
me, the friction was having to go to the App Store and
Yep.
download the app and then
Yep.
log in with your Netflix information, which I
Yes.
realize is not hard, but it's still friction in a world where
It's
everything
definitely
takes a
friction.
quarter of a second.
Absolutely. And it might be
So,
confusing.
yeah,
If you're logged into Netflix on your phone, which I guess this
maybe
is
a
a
lot
great
of
good
people
question.
are.
I think a lot of people are, but maybe more
I
people
never
are
have
really
been.
are on the Roku. So if you're logged in if you have the Netflix app on your phone and you're logged in,
Mhm.
it pushes you to the App Store, you download, and then you just start playing. And that's
Right.
cool, but maybe that's not the norm. So maybe there is a ton of friction. Oh, like, oh shit, I got the game, but what's my Netflix password? Oh, I gotta log in. Oh, I got a two-factor. Ah, shit, what the fuck? Kids, work, life. I'm out.
Right.
That's confusing. That is
Yeah.
confusing to people. I get it.
I have always wanted my gaming experience. I have always wanted from Netflix was what I just described to you. I
Absolutely. You
want to
said it
turn the
from
phone
day one.
sideways and
Yep.
play. That's
Yep.
it. That's all I want. I want to not have to move from the sofa to whatever I was already doing. Or I want to sit down on the sofa and open Netflix and go right into the game. I don't even have to go from a show to a game, but I want that available there. Now, I am a console player
Yeah.
and have long been one up until the last few years of more identifying with PC. So I am not the average player. So I have to
No,
remember that.
we are not, and we are not normal, and neither is anyone listening to this. But I
Hmm.
I I hope they don't abandon the mobile strategy entirely, because now I'm thinking like, okay, my TV says let's play Lego Party. Go get the controller app. I still have to go to an app store and download a Netflix thing to
You
play the
do.
game, and therefore I'm getting an app and or logging into something, and then I'm logged in, which means the next time Netflix is like, hey, by the way, you can also play Civilization 6. I'm like, well, blah, blah, blah. Then I'm already in, and I'm in, and then I'm playing on
Right.
my phone, and I'm playing Boggle, and I'm playing Lego. Like, I think these strategies can connect,
Yep.
but maybe they're obviously they're obsessed with data, so they're looking at numbers and being like, no, people don't get it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's that they don't get it per mobile games. I think it's exactly what they said in that article. There's too many people in the space already. And I think that
Right.
when it comes to frictionless mobile gaming, personally, I think Apple Arcade has it on lock. Like, I think that
Yeah.
that's just a great
Yes.
offering with a
Correct.
lot of
Right.
really great games that you don't have to
Because it's in one
individually pay
place. It,
for.
it, it's it's
Hmm.
it's the
It's
you're in the app
painless.
store. If you are using an iPhone, you're already logged into your Apple account, which is your Apple Arcade
Hmm.
subscription, and it's bundled
Exactly.
with. I mean, I didn't even know that my wife had Apple Arcade until very recently, because she's like, "Oh, I have the cloud storage and I have Apple Fitness, and I guess I have Apple Arcade." I'm like, "Oh shit, we have all these
Yeah, I
great
don't
games."
remember what their bundle price is, but you can get a deal. Well, first of all, if you buy any Apple product, they give you 3 months free of like fitness and arcade
An
and
Apple TV.
news and Apple TV. Like they give you 3 months free of that, and all the services are great. But they have some sort of package. I think it's called Apple One, where all that
Apple
is
One,
rolled
that's right.
together for what maybe like $60 a month, but it is a lot of
It is a
services.
good value, and
Yeah.
I was like, do we pay for this? And she does get the value. Gets a lot of
Hmm.
value out of the plan, so it's
Yeah,
worthwhile if you
like
have a
I
iPhone.
I had Apple Fitness on its own for a while and I have never enjoyed any workout program more than I did
It's
that.
very good.
It's
I'm
really
super
good.
impressed with the way that if you're wearing the watch. I mean, look, it's all
It's all
connected, obviously.
connected.
But if you're wearing the watch, it's showing your heart rate and your calories and your whatever
Mhm.
on the screen in real time, and that
Mhm.
as like a sort of like person who's interested in the technology of video, to display a pre-recorded video with live data about your fucking pulse on that is on your wrist in real time. I'm like, yo, this is amazing. I
Yeah,
love this, and
it
I don't have any
definitely
of the
is.
tech.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Anywho, all right. So there's not really a clear timeline on when we're gonna get these games or when they're gonna roll the product out, but hopefully soon.
Yeah, I didn't see any information about that yet, but I think that, if they're talking about it now, I would assume that we'll probably expect to see it in the next, year, 12 months,
Yep.
maybe. So
Yep.
I will certainly report back because I've been interested in their efforts in this space for a long time when I see more. So yeah, I guess we'll see. Maybe we'll try games on Netflix together at some
Yeah,
point with the community. Who
I
knows?
would love to.
That'd be
Well,
really fun.
honestly, that's another question. It's this seems very couch co-op focused, but like, can you do these games online
Ah, very
the
good
way you
question.
would with a console online subscription? And I don't know. I'd be a little bummed if you couldn't.
Or yeah, like for instance, if let's just say that it was like you and me and two members of our Discord, and they're playing wherever they are, and we're playing where we are. Would all four of us have to have Netflix subscriptions, or would one person have to have it, and everyone else can just log
Probably
in using a
yes, but
code?
then the question there, and again, this gets back to like normal people do not have Discord things where they go
Mm,
on Discord for voice chat or whatever. So it's like, hey, I want to play Boggle with you, and you're in a different state. So like, we both have Netflix and we both have the app, but how are we talking to each other? Is that built into the app? Are we on the phone?
right.
That's that. And maybe they just say like, nah, it's too hard, it's too complicated, we're just doing local. And it remain Netflix remains, because right now Netflix is not an online experience. It is a living room. When I am experiencing Netflix with people, it is people
Right.
in my room with
In
me,
your
not
house.
people remotely. So maybe they just say the hell with it.
Yeah, I
That
guess we'll
might be
see.
the right choice.
Interesting. Yeah. Hmm. TBD, guys.
TBD. All right, you have another news item here that you dropped in,
Yeah,
and I don't know
it
much about this, so you'll have to take the lead, please.
Yeah, I mean, it is sad, but I really did feel like it was important for us to just at least touch on this. Tobunobu Itagaki passed away. He is the creator of the Dead or Alive franchise, and he also helped to revive Ninja Gaiden
Mm-hmm.
when he helmed the 2004 game. Uh, Ninja Gaiden. Um, and I felt like, he was obviously played an important role in the video game world. And so even though I knew of him, I was not like, desperately following everything that he did and said, but I did know that this was a person who played an important role in making a lot of games. And his I thought his yeah, he was kind of known, and this is the other reason why I kind of wanted to celebrate him for a moment. He was kind of known for like wearing this, like he had this trademark kind of look, which actually he's wearing in that picture,
Oh yeah,
of
yeah.
like sunglasses and like a leather jacket, and that he
It's
was
very
kind of
Keanu in a good way. I'm
yeah. Well, he also was also known for showing up to like industry events like inebriated, which I kind of love. I think I saw him floating around the year that I went to Tokyo Game Show, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was
Okay,
there
nice.
that year because I remembered seeing him. But anyway, yeah, he
58, which is just
young.
not old enough. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And I don't know
Yeah.
if it was an. I mean, I'm assuming it was a specific illness. It seems there was some post that maybe he or his family or something put out, which translates to "the light of my life is about to run out," which is
I
just
know. I was like, "Oh my god." Like
heartbreaking.
that is heartbreaking, and I just was like, "Ugh, that yeah, that was a lot."
I have no
But
experience with Dead or Alive at all. Like at all. Had you played any of the series?
um Dead or Alive, basically if someone asked me to like describe what Dead or Alive games are, they're fighting games, but
Okay.
like I would describe them as like big titty games.
Oh,
Like
okay, good.
you pretty much just play as like a bunch of hot girls, and you just get to look at their butts and their boobs bouncing while they like run around and do things.
Okay.
But it's been around for a long time.
Yeah,
Like Dead or
it's a
Alive
long
as a
franchise, right?
Yeah, like I think it started in like the mid 90s.
That
Um
sounds right.
yeah,
Is it, when you
and
say fighting game, or is it like Street Fighter, or is it more? Oh, there's a band called Dead or Alive.
yeah, it was like Street Fighter in
Well,
3D
yeah, more like Tekken or
basically.
something. I'm
Kind of,
looking.
yeah.
Where's this? I'm looking at the. Oh, I see. I see. Okay,
Yeah, just
I see.
imagine like, the 2D fighting classics, but you're playing them in 3D instead. And I mean, to be fair, it's not like they were just chicks. Like, there were absolutely like other uh, there were absolutely other characters that you can play in
Muscle
them
guys.
too. Yeah, like the whole series is a
1996. 96 is the
96.
first arcade cabinet, maybe, if I'm
Oh,
understanding
maybe.
this.
That could be. But yeah, there were 6 Dead or Alive main franchise game. I mean, it was an enormous franchise. Like,
Okay, the original was an arcade game and eventually was on Sega Saturn and then PlayStation 1.
yeah, yeah,
Got
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So anyway,
Fatal
I just
Fury,
thought,
Virtua Fighter, Fatal Fury, Mortal Kombat. These are all in the same milieu, let's say. Great.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not a look. I like most '90s kids. Street Fighter 2 was a very important video game in at male-dominated sleepover parties in the mid '90s. That was the game of choice. But after that, I just Mortal Kombat never appealed to me, and then I never got into the Virtua Fighter, Dead or Alive, Tekken world. I went way over onto the adventure game simulation stuff and never looked back. I think, but I get it.
yeah.
I get the appeal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not a fighting game person either. Um, I have a very good friend, um, who is Patrick is texting me to say Dead or Alive is a Gooner game fighter.
Nice.
I was like, okay.
Is he listening
Um,
to us right now?
well, yeah, because he came home from the grocery while we were recording the
Gosh,
podcast.
get this
So
guy out of here.
Patrick is in on this conversation.
Surveillance
Yeah.
state. This
So,
last story I put in for you, for everyone really, for all of our lovely listeners, but
oh, I
I
actually
was
haven't even
surprised you had
seen
not
this
seen this.
story. No, I hadn't. So, wow. Although I love this. Okay, by the way, this is news talk. So what it says under the title there, we call that the subhead. The
Yes,
subhead
yes.
says, "But discovery of early prototype was like everyone entered my room and saw my underwear." I'm like, okay, wait, what?
Yep. I don't know what that's referring to specifically, but this article is for people who are not watching the video is that I think some developers from Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, everyone's favorite game of 2025, they may have spoken to Eurogamer or posted somewhere that like there are still despite the overwhelming popularity of this game and people who have picked it apart and speed runned it and uncovered everything they could possibly unpack about it, the developers are saying there are things that players have not yet seen in this game. There are secrets, there are we don't know endings, cutscenes, things about Claire Obscure that we have not yet uncovered, and
That's
that whenever this
crazy.
happens, I fucking love this.
That's crazy to me because I feel like people have been so impacted by this game and dove so deeply in. So that
Mm-hmm.
is a surprise to me. But also, I guess Final Fantasy, I guess RPG players dig deep, but that doesn't, these games can be big.
Yep.
So, like, there's a note here in the article that says there's a reference in the Gestural Village about characters swapping the double dyad cards, which is a hat tip to the triple triad card game from Final Fantasy VIII. I
Okay.
think I might have missed that dialogue.
Sure. Sure.
So I didn't even know about that. But I guess this means that it's still worth it to keep watching people's videos because someone will
Yes.
find this stuff eventually.
They are speaking directly with Eurogamer, and because I think they have started to do some press about like we've covered it a little bit here. Like, hey, not that the game is not done, but hey, we are adding to the game. We are continuing to work on the game and/or the franchise. And so people are like, will that be DLC? Will that be patches? Will that be a sequel? Blah, 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 blah. And so
Right.
in those conversations, the director, I'm not a French speaker, Guillaume Broche, Guy,
Uh, I don't know how to say his name for sure
let's call
either,
him
so I don't
Guy
even.
Broche or Brochet. Um, he is just alluding to the fact that there are still secrets in the game no one has seen, and and I don't know that means like, oh, hat tip references. I take this to mean like there are areas of the world that no one has seen yet, and I just think that's so
Wait,
cool.
is that what he said?
That is not specifically what he's saying, but that's what I want to believe.
I mean,
His
you could
exact
believe that.
words are there. Okay.
There are, but I don't want to say them because they won't be secrets anymore.
But
Maybe
are
they've
there
been
other
found, but I
secrets?
haven't seen anything
Yes.
about it yet.
The
So
question is,
meaning
are there other secrets yet to be uncovered? Quote, there are, but I don't want to say them because they won't be
they
secrets,
won't
which
be
is
secrets
what you
anymore.
just said.
Huh.
Maybe they
So
have been
interesting.
found, but I haven't seen it. Okay, so meaning like theoretically players have seen this, but nothing has been documented or captured on video that we know
Right.
about.
I think that's what he means. Well, what I'm wondering too is when they release this update that they've mentioned for the whole, like, we've sold
Yeah,
what did they sell, 8 million
5 million
copies
or
or
whatever it
whatever,
was,
5
8
million,
million.
I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but whatever it was they sold, I'm wondering if that's just going to trigger people to get back into it, and then maybe
Oh
they'll
yeah,
uncover
I bet people
more.
are. Hang on, let's see. Claire obscure. Let's go to Steam DB concurrents right
Oh,
now. Okay, where okay, right now, Thursday evening, 8,200 players are playing the game right now on Steam alone.
I mean, not bad.
Total all-time peak concurrent 145,000 on Steam alone. And that's not total players, that's like at any one time the most.
That's a lot.
So,
Wow.
like,
Wow.
let's get in there, man. Let's find the
Love
secrets,
it.
okay?
Love it. Love it.
All right. It's time. You know it and I know it.
Video games. I never thought I'd get to do that because ever since you started using that, kid you not, every time you play it, and there was no video then, so no one could see me doing it. I would just
Yep.
sit here like cracking the fuck up over the microphone. No
Now we can
matter
see
how
it.
many times you played it, I would still laugh.
Love
It's
it.
still funny. I guess I think I'm funny, which I don't even know what to think about that.
You're allowed. You're allowed. You're allowed to think you're funny.
Well, I think it's the combination of that and like the music you put behind it. It's just too much. I love
It's a
it.
team effort.
It's a
It's a
team
team
effort.
effort.
Yeah.
I'll go
So
first
you go
because
first.
because I'm excited to. I'm very excited to dig into your game, which is also sort of my game too. But
But
very quickly, it might have been last week or maybe the tail end of the week before. I finished Cyberpunk 2077.
oh wow.
I love it so much. I really never thought I would love it. I'm so thrilled that I came to it much, much later, years later, because I really did not experience any bugs. I think I drove a car and then fell through the world one time. I was just like, "Oh, I'm going to go here," and then just like fell through the city into the void. But short of that, it runs great. I think the presentation and the story and the acting, I felt so immersed. I just felt so blown away and affected by the story. It is not. I don't think it's life changing the way that Expedition 33 is in that same way, but
It's enjoyable.
uh, enjoyable is a strong word. I would say that it is
Okay.
it is an interesting and devastating and I would say important story for our time because it's pretty obvious that if you have read or watched or played any cyberpunk genre, whatever, it's about dystopia, and
Yeah.
we are in it slash rapidly approaching it in real life for in a variety of dimensions, and just the hopelessness and the sadness and the existential dread that this game instilled that this game speaks to, I found very profound. And it not I'm not really spoiling much, but it at the end of the day, it is about the human soul. Um, and I'm not a spiritual person. I do not believe a human soul exists, but the way that it and I guess I think the game and I am saying the metaphorical human soul, if and when it can be replicated by technology, whether that's AI or in the case of cyberpunk, it's about like, could my personality, my being, be transmitted digitally or be
Right.
cloned or put into another person? Like, I find that ethical and philosophical question very compelling
Hmm.
and scary. And I
Yeah.
think this game uh, unpacks that issue in a very good and dire way. And, I finished the game and I was very I really don't want to spoil, but it's very sad. It's a very sad game with multiple endings, and my ending was very sad. And I looked it up. I kind of looked up like, well, what should I have done to get the happy ending? And I guess what I'm saying is like, there's no good
There
endings.
is no
There's no
happy
happy
ending.
ending because the
Yeah.
world is so fucked up
Yeah.
in this game
Yeah.
and in real life, and it's really devastating how what unfolds, I guess, is how
That's
I'm.
a proper hat tip to, I think, like the legacy of cyberpunk,
Yes. Yes.
as a movement, not as the not
Correct.
meaning the game.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yep.
So, but I have to admit that because weirdly, despite being drawn to a lot of cyberpunk stuff, themed stuff, I didn't want to play it, and I don't know why really.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And you talking about this actually, and we own it. It
Yeah.
makes me think that it might be something that maybe I should consider going back to, because maybe I didn't give it a fair shake, and should consider it, because that sounds like something that I might actually like. Blade Runner is one of my favorite films ever made.
Given your pedigree and interests, it is interesting that
Hmm.
again, I love CD Projekt Red. I love the Witcher games. I
Hmm.
played all three to all the way through to credits. Uh, and just looked at this game and was like, I don't want this. And then picked it up for $20 and fucking loved it.
Amazing. I love that though. I love that, like, you didn't end up missing something that otherwise you would never have thought about
Yeah, I'm
playing.
really happy about that. Again, you play a lot of, you especially, and many listeners play a lot of story games where it's like there's a lot of voice acting and there's a lot of narrative and and those are not always games that I'm drawn to. But when
Hmm.
I am, I have we make exceptions for video games. They're not going to be movies. They're not going to have the same cinematic quality, but sometimes you play a Baldur's Gate and you're like, oh my God, like this is acting. This is motion capture. This is
Yeah.
like, I'm really in it. And Cyberpunk, I was expecting to play like a 2-year-old game and be like, okay, yeah, it's got the jank, but whatever, it's okay. And I felt like I was in the city. I felt like I was in the movie of this game. And I really liked I played as female V, and I'm really glad I did because I really like the actor who plays her. And I don't even
Hmm.
know her name. I just loved her vibe and I loved being her. And I think Keanu Reeves rules, and I think his character is very interesting in this. And yeah, anyway, I just can't say enough good stuff about it, and
No
I
shit.
recommend it.
If I could ever get a break in my ongoing list of things to play or things that I feel guilty for starting and not finishing, maybe I could pick this up.
You got to make
Well, I
time.
don't,
You got
I
to make
mean, by
space
pick
for
it
it.
up, I literally mean firing it up because Patrick
Yeah.
played it. I don't know that he finished it,
Yeah, I
but
was
I know
wondering
that
if
he played
he
it quite a
got,
bit.
yeah, well, what did he get his sort of money's worth or story's worth
I
out of it?
know he got his money's worth because I remember him playing it quite a bit at one time, but I
Yeah.
don't know that he ever actually finished it because that's so darn hard to do.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
these days. So, and
Yep.
also, huzzah, you finished a game.
I now finished a game. I finished a 40-hour or whatever game. And and there was the last thing I'll say is just that, like, I was flirting with buying the DLC because I loved it so much. I was flirting with, like, I should do all the quests before I go to the point of no return on the story. And I kind of just came to a point where it's like, I think this game is excellent. I'm tired of living in this city. I'm tired
Yeah.
of being here
Yeah.
because it's so fucking depressing. It's so hopeless.
Hmm.
You're walking around the city and everything is disgusting and people are crying in the streets because their life is so
Wow.
horrible, and I'm just like, I don't want to be here anymore. I just want to fucking go to the end and shoot some dudes and see where this goes. And
But how effective, it was so effective that that's how you really felt, which is,
really,
that's notable, I think,
it
you know?
really got into my skin in a good way, but also
Wow.
like, I got to get out of this place way. So yeah,
Wow.
so I need to play a cozy farming, everyone's happy game now, but I am not yet because still mega bunking, of course. But a game came out that I really didn't know much about, and then everyone has started really raving about it, which is called Absolum, which is from Emu, and another they're the publisher, but it's from the folks who made Streets of Rage 4, I think, which is the beat 'em up,
Okay.
and .mu published the Shredder's Revenge, the TMNT game. So there is this sort of renaissance of side-scrolling beat 'em up games that we all loved as kids, and now they're sort of modernizing them. So the pitch for this, as many people have already covered, is like, what if you mixed Hades, the run based power up and then die and then get more, increase your level ups and your skills, mix that with like a TMNT Streets of Rage kind of situation. So, and
Right.
I'll put some footage here up on the screen so folks can, on the video version, can see.
I don't think I had
Um,
heard anything about this game until you mentioned that you were going to get it. And then as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. I've
I
got to
almost
try this.
wasn't. I almost wasn't gonna get it, but I think a lot of the reviews were like, "Okay, it's Streets of Rage meets Hades, but it's a fantasy world," which I'm down for.
Hmm.
And people were saying, "Oh, the story is kind of generic," and I think, and I somewhat agree with that, but I also think the vibe and the art style and the whole presentation is excellent because it's got this hand drawn comic book vibe that I really really
Mm-hmm.
like. And I have two sort of thrusts to say about it. One is the combat is amazing. Like, oh, here's
It
an
looks
ad.
really satisfying. Like, I'm
The
watching the footage and I'm like, that looks so satisfying.
the combat and the sound design in particular are spectacular. Like, it's you're punching and you're hitting and you're using whatever weapons, and it's just like it just, and your control, it has really good rumble. I'm playing on Switch too, and it just feels great to touch and play. And it looks great, it sounds great, it feels great. And so maybe I'll flash back to the footage here for video viewers. Um,
Yeah.
and there are 4 different characters. You start with 2 characters, and you unlock the next 2.
Hmm.
And what we are finding, and I specifically was like, oh, I'm going to play this with my son. It is only 2-player couch co-op, but it also has online. So it's only 2 players, despite there being 4 characters. But I think that's
Hmm.
probably, it's obviously by design, but I think it's probably designed that way because there's just so much going on, and there's a lot of sort of Hades-like decision things to make that I think it
Okay.
would be a little tedious to do it with 4 players. There's
Yeah.
another Turtles game. It is called. It's not Shredder's Revenge. It's the other one that is a top-down. It's basically Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but Hades. It is a Hades. It is a Hadesified Turtles beat 'em up.
Uh
It's isometric, and that game is also very good. But we tried to play it 4 players, and there was so much like reading that you need to do to figure out your
mm,
like boons and your level ups and your trinkets that it very much became like okay, fight, and then stop for like 2 minutes while everyone figures out what the fuck they're doing, and then beat him up, and then stop. And so I think this game made a good choice in that it is only 2 players, and that's fine.
hmm. Hmm. Interesting.
Um, each character plays radically different, and I think that's awesome because you can be the sword lady, you can be the dwarf who has a big like blunderbuss type gun. There is a really cool sort of like she is a person, she's an elf or a human, but she has like cool mechanical. She can throw gear wheels. She has like a grappling hook that like instead of pulling enemies toward you, you grapple onto enemies, and then she will fling herself toward the enemy, and then she can grab onto the enemy and like body slam them. So if you're chaining attacks together, you can kind of like latch on to the enemy and then go flip over them and slam them to the ground. And so the game really rewards comboing rather than button mashing. So it's about
Mm.
YYXY. And I don't know that the combos are specific, but it's like the more comboing you're doing, the more meter you're building up. And then that affects your damage and your boons and whatever. And then the other Hades like aspect is that after each chunk of the level, it's like, all right, do you want to put a fire attack on your weak punch, or do you want to put like a wind effect on your secondary punch, or do you want to put like a poison effect on your block thing? And you
Okay.
start to create builds like Hades where you are creating a specific build based on your playstyle or the things that synergize. Here is where my criticism of the game, which is minor and probably like I need to play more of it to get past it. There is a block mechanic or a parry mechanic. You all know how much I love parrying in video games. Um, on Switch, it's on the A button, and I think it's very cool but confusing. And by that I mean when you parry in a video game, and I'll come back to my image here. When you parry in a video game, you think of it like, boom, I'm blocking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like putting up my sword, or I'm putting up my dukes. And in this, you actually dash forward. And so the block button is also the dodge button, which is also the run button if you hold it and continue to run.
Hmm.
And I don't know why that is, and I find it confusing because for as good as the game feels to play, it just feels awesome. I don't feel like I understand when to parry because the parrying motion is like zooming forward. So I think what's happening is that if you see that an enemy is about to attack you, you sort of zoom forward into the enemy, which allows you to like ching, and then you parry, which creates like a little ching effect. And then once you have parried, you then stun the enemy, and that enemy takes extra damage or something. And what
Okay,
I'm
so if
saying,
you successfully parry, the enemy does get damaged.
the enemy does get
Okay.
stunned, which then if you stun them and then beat the shit out of them, you do lots of damage, and that may also synergize with the boons that you've been getting. So it's like when
Hmm.
you parry, do X amount of fire damage. And so it's like, okay, I'm doing a parry build that does, and I guess where I'm struggling is like there is so much shit going on screen because everyone's just mashing X to just beat the shit out of 50 enemies
Right.
that I'm like, I don't know when to parry. I don't know when parries are happening.
Uh,
I don't really feel or see that my boons are synergizing with the parry. Because like, you know, when you're making a build and you're like, oh yeah, when I do this epic move, I'm really wiping the floor. It's like, I
right.
don't know when that's happening. So me and my son are defaulting to like, I don't really know how to parry, so I'm just going to mash X. And that's
Yeah.
great. And it's fun and it's awesome. And I feel like the game is not allowing me to access a core mechanic. Like the game is like, hey, this parry system's really cool. You should use it. And I'm like, I don't really get it. So I guess I'll not choose those. I guess I'll not do that
Uh,
build. And that's weird. And we've played, I would say we probably played 3 to 4 ish hours in small chunks. And I
okay.
don't know, I still don't feel like I'm getting it.
And there's
Uh,
no there's this is not a game you can play just by yourself,
You
right? You
can.
have to play with.
You can, and so I should do a little more of that to kind of get a feel for it.
That would be my only advice, because maybe it's just that because it's such chaos on the screen, it's really not possible to feel it out while you're paying attention to so many things.
I
That would
think
be hard for
that's
me.
even
Yeah.
with single player though, there are often you it incentivizes you like I don't know what they call it in these types of games, but it's like over hitting or over killing or something, probably over killing, where it's like you once the enemy is like fully dead, you can keep punching him
Right.
to get
For
to
like
build up a
extra.
meter and get extra whatever. And so even in single player, you're just like and you're standing like right on top of the enemies at all times going. So again, I don't know when the enemy is winding up for the block for the big attack so that I
Got
can
it.
block him. And
Okay.
again, I think some of this might just be get good, but I think
Hmm.
if the game is like this is a core mechanic, you should figure this out. It is not it's not tutorializing it enough for me, and that
Okay.
would be my criticism. But truly don't let that deter you, because if you like these style of games, again, the presentation and the feel of the game is so
It's
good.
gorgeous.
I think the story is interesting enough, and even if the narrative is not sort of like award winning, the presentation of the characters and the voice acting I think is really cool. There's sort of like this nature all mother character who
Mm,
brings you back to life when you die. And there's it's sort of something about like she is this guardian spirit that like she knows you're going to die, but she reincarnates you, and she's like, we must gather all the forces so that we can come back to life and try again to defeat the big bad.
hmm.
So whereas Hades was like, you're already a demigod sort of dead and you're just coming back to the overworld, or the underworld, this has that mechanic, but there's like some lore connected to it. So
Hmm. Pretty cool. I'm interested. That, like, I think after you pointed it out, I was like, okay, I'm gonna want to play this at some point. I'm bummed there's no demo, but I'm looking at my
right.
Steam page and I'm logged in and it says a member of your Steam family already owns this game, and I'm like, what? I'm like, so either
Well,
Patrick bought it or maybe we're connected to. We have one other friend whose library we might be connected
ooh,
to. I'll have to
this
go
is
look.
live. This is live to tape here. I have a visitor at my door. Come in. Hello.
There's someone at the door.
Is it someone important?
I just saw a guy with like an iPad.
Okay. Don't answer the door. Thanks, buddy. There's someone at our door with an iPad. That does not
That
bode well.
no, it does not. Do not
Not
answer the door, but
interested.
especially not for randos with iPads.
Yeah. There is some construction on our street where they are digging up the entire street and putting new pipes in, which is
Oh
very
my
loud and
god.
annoying.
Oh.
So it might be a construction worker being like, "Hey, your water's going to get shut off or some shit," but I'll deal with that in the future.
But why does he need an iPad to tell you that? It's
I think
sus.
there's probably going to be like, "Hey, sign this form so that you are aware that we're going to like destroy your
Okay,
house for
okay.
20 minutes."
Oh,
But
great.
also, it could be some political bullshit. It could be Jehovah's Witnesses. So not interested.
No, thanks.
So Absolum is out now. I'm playing it on Switch 2, and it's great there. It's just a really, I really wanted to get it on just sort of like a boot it up and play, and also so the kids could play it and we could just beat the
Sure.
crap out of goblins together. And so that's been really fun.
Yeah.
But on to the main event.
It's not the main event.
All right, the doorbell is still ringing, and I'm gonna disappear. This is live, everyone. You're gonna just, I don't know, sing a song while I go away, and then we'll see what happens.
Oh,
All right?
okay, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds
Entertain the
good.
crowd. I won't be able to see you or hear you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Talk about putting me on the spot. Well, I'll give you guys a little preview. I was going to talk about a game that I don't know whether we should call it Ball X Pit, Ball by Pit, or just Ball Pit. But the way it's written is BALL, all caps, small x, PIT, Ball X Pit. So this game I feel like it popped up earlier in the year, and Matt and I had a conversation about it here on the pod. And there was a demo which we both played, and we were both like, "Oh my god, this is great!" I think it's either made by a single guy or it's made by a developer who goes by a guy's name, Kenny Sun.
I'm
But
back.
hello, I was just talking.
What did she say about me?
I was just doing kind of a lead up about Ball X Pit, Ball by Pit, Ball.
Yeah.
Pit. So I was basically saying a bet
Hang on.
earlier.
Update.
What?
Don't you want to know who the guy with the iPad was?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Satan?
it was close.
Mark
I
Zuckerberg?
think I'm pretty sure our front door was closed, but when the doorbell rang, I think my son opened the door, which I need to talk to him about that because that's not safe. And then because he just like left the door kind of like open, the guy like thought that someone was coming to the door because he didn't go back and say like, we're not interested. Like he just like talked to me. I said, he just ghosted him.
And then he just went back to where.
So now the door is wide open with the guy standing there thinking that an adult is going to come. And then so I'm glad I went back to address the door. It was a very lovely gentleman who was trying to sell us solar panels. And I said,
oh, okay.
Come on.
Thank you very much.
But the good news is on my doorstep was packages, which hopefully I'm not going to be showing my address here, but I'll just give you a little peek here. It is samples of merchandise for another podcast that we are experimenting with. So we got to get the merch situation back for this show, which we will. I'm trying a new print-on-demand service, and so if this is good, I will let you know, and we'll get that.
Yes,
again.
Good, because I still want my Colette and Matt have entered the chat shirt. I have a Retro Force Go shirt, so I feel like I should, at the very least, for these years of service, get a shirt.
You should.
But
for these, what did we say? It's 11 24-hour days of recording this podcast.
11 24-hour days of recording this podcast.
Yeah, you deserve a shirt or a mug. All right, Ball Pit.
Rate, so yeah, we'll just call it Ball Pit for now because I don't want to try to be confused every time I say it. So we're going to agree on Ball Pit.
I think the dev has called it Ball Pit.
Has he? Okay, wrong. Good. Okay, that makes me happy. So what I was saying right before you came back was, demo came out. We both played it. We both loved it. We're both super excited for when it was going to come out. I had it on my calendar, like on my planner, like Ball Pit is coming out today. So I was like, hell yeah, this is going to be great. So I was really excited about it. I don't know if we made this comparison before, but I read a review today that was like, this is kind of like Vampire Survivors if it was Peggle.
Ooh, it's interesting that you're saying Peggle.
And I was
I understand.
I get it. The ball. I guess that makes sense. But anyway, so I was like, yeah, I guess that is kind of what it's like. So, I couldn't resist, even though I have multiple other games like spinning right now. I was like, oh, I've been waiting for this. I got to play it a little. And I was curious about how the demo might be different. I know I talked about it on the show. We both talked about it when we played the demo, but so I'll just do a very quick review. The TLDR is a very loose story about how this place you lived in got destroyed by a gigantic cannonball coming out of nowhere, or an
Story is a
asteroid or
strong word.
whatever.
Okay.
Oh, right. Story is a strong word. And so there's just a giant pit left. And so your gameplay is two phases. One is going into the pit and having these fights. The fights are auto scrolling vertical fights
Mhm.
in which you have a mass of enemies that you have to take out by shooting a variety of different types of balls. Some of them are what players are calling baby balls, I saw, which are just literally little small spears. Some of them are
Oh,
like
love these! I love these
special.
ads that are playing while we're
Yeah,
going here. I gotta
it is
get.
what it is.
I gotta see if I can budget YouTube Premium into the business expenses now that we're doing this.
Yes. But so at any rate, some of the balls that you get are like powered up balls. So, you'll get elemental ones, like ones that do lightning or fire or ice or whatever. And just like the Vampire Survivors system, you'll level up. And as you level up, you'll get the opportunity to either get new balls and new skills or to do like fusions with your skills.
Right.
And uh also, like Vampire Survivors, you might see like, oh well, if I have the vampire ball and if I have the fireball, those two complement, so you can eventually fuse those together to get this like mega ball that has all
That
the
that's
characteristics
the
of
best.
both.
I mean, there's a lot of good stuff about this game, but that is the
Mm-hmm.
most. I'm finding that to be really exciting and satisfying because not only
Mm-hmm.
does it create that mega ball, but it frees up a new slot. Not a new
It frees
slot.
up a
You
slot.
have. I haven't unlocked many characters, but I guess by
Mm-hmm.
default you have four ball weapon slots, and you can level up all four of those balls as you said. But if you fuse them together, if you fuse two of them together, it creates one Super Bowl, ball, which then opens up that next slot again,
Right.
which then lets you
Right.
add a
Which is
new
great.
weapon to your build.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
is so fun and satisfying and different from Vampire Survivors and Megabonk, where those slots are sort of that's what you get. You get what you get, you know?
Right, for sure. Yes, that's a really good point. I don't think I would have thought to point it out, but you're right. So that really lets you do some cool stuff. So, I did learn that. But sorry, one thing I did also forget to mention about the descent into the pit, the fighting
Yep.
part of the game, is that you also unlock blueprints while you're down there, and the blueprints will allow you to do stuff in the other phase of the game. So after you do a run in the pit, if you die or if you complete whatever the level is, you will be able to either play again
Mhm.
or you can ascend out of the pit. And if you ascend out of the pit, then you go into a little city builder that I think we were saying in the Discord, someone mentioned that it reminded them of ActRaiser,
It
which
really does.
it kind of does. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But so what you're going to do up there is you're going to build uh both buildings and areas for resources. So for your areas for resources, you'll build things like wheat fields, forests, like rocks that you can mine boulders from. And those resources will be used for building, which you can also build as you get the blueprints, buildings that give you stat boosts. So one might be like +1 speed to every character if you have, this particular thing. Or the first character you unlock his house, the blueprint for his house.
Yep.
And so like that will give you a boost. So you have all these different things to unlock. So basically they're keeping it fresh for your runs and making sure that you're unlocking new characters, you have the ability to build new buildings, etc. Whatever you're doing that's going on in the city building area, which you can also expand. So you start with just like your one little, rectangle you see there, but as you go you can spend gold, which you collect when you're in the pit,
Mhm.
to expand your area so you have more space to build. And then when it's time to collect resources, that's kind of a neat little bit because so depending on how many characters you've unlocked, so right now I've unlocked 2. When you're in this, what we're seeing on the screen, if you're watching on the video version of the
Mhm.
podcast, when you're seeing this your resources, your little resource squares and your buildings, you get to do this thing they call harvest. So you press your harvest button and your characters will bounce out into the field. But what's cool about it is you angle them just like you would the ball when you're in the pit. So they
That's such a
bounce.
ridiculous, amazing part of this thing.
Really silly, really fun thing that makes you think about the way you're building.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't just be like, oh, I'm just going to put everything in a row, because then you have to kind of think about the advantages of like, well, if I build my fields diagonally or whatever, then it'll be easier for them to go straight up on a diagonal and like collect all the resources. And you can level your resources up, so you can, take your wheat fields or your boulders from level 1 to level 2, and they'll produce more resources. So that's all stuff I haven't gotten into that much yet, because
Right.
I've probably only played a couple hours since getting it.
Yes.
But one thing I did do today, because I was curious, is I wanted to see if anybody started posting anything about like builds.
Yeah.
And it's too early, and also the game is too new. So one person had
There's
made a
a
video.
lot. There are so many balls.
There's a lot.
and I don't know what they call them, items that give
right.
you specifics. So that, and then it just when you think you're in a run and you've got it sort of figured out, you fuse two balls together, like you were saying, and then it's like, whoa, this ball can now do this and this, and then that synergizes with this, and you like your build evolves so radically mid-run, and it's just very compelling.
Like, it really makes you need to get to know all the options that'll come up. Like,
yes.
And then I had played maybe 7 or 8 runs. And then a new item came up that I had never gotten.
That you'd never seen.
I was playing a different character, but I was like, ooh, that's actually really powerful. And I don't want to say and give away what it is, but I was like, man, that's strong. And so I tried that and I was like, this is awesome. And I was like, wow, okay. I wonder if there's going to be even more cool ones that I'll be able to unlock from here on out. So, and that's really only I've had 2 sit downs of play that have probably both been about an hour and a half each.
Yep.
So I'm reticent to get too far into it, if only because I feel like overwhelming guilt for not completing Silent Hill F yet.
Ball Pit is an in-between game. I mean, like, it could become an obsession very quickly, but it's like, hey, I'm gonna do 2-3 runs and level up this shit, and then go back to my big game or something, right?
Yeah, I could do that. I think what happened was Megabonk came out and it was just so engrossing, and it really distracted me, and our whole community was having fun, or most of our community was playing it and talking about it, and you made the video, and then this came out, and it was like, oh damn, I really wanted to get this. But I've been told that Silent Hill F is not that long, so I am hell-bent that this weekend I have no plans, and I am hell-bent on I am going to spend this weekend catching up on games. The first one being I'm going to finish Silent Hill F, because I'm bothered. Because see, with me, the problem is because of ADHD, if I get too far away from something, I actually don't ever return to it.
I know, it's hard to come back.
And I really don't want that to be the case with this game.
Because you feel you're like, you pick up the controller and you're like, wait, this is running, and then the attack is here. And you're like, I no longer feel because the game has gotten so complicated, because you have gone through a story or leveled up or unlocked, blah, blah, blah. And then you come back and you're like, I don't remember all the things. And there's no longer an on-ramp to get you to the complex level.
No. That's why I try to stay kind of focused on one, and if it's a light game, like for me, Megabonk was kind of like, oh, this is just so mindless, I mean, for lack of a better word, even though I don't mean that as an insult, that I was like, I can pick this up and put it back down. But I feel like the complexity of both that and this with the builds, it can kind of it's like an itch. It's like, you're like, ooh, could I do this? Could I do this? And it can spirit me away. So, like I really want to make sure that I'm getting Silent Hill F done before I go too
You've made
deep.
the commitment here before me and listeners, and before God, of course, and so you will finish that game. Ball Pit has a killer vibe, aesthetic, and soundtrack, both sound design and soundtrack. Like, it's really just the first area, but the music is really good, and the enemies sort of chant along with the music. They sort of bop
Yeah.
around with the music. And I'm saying this to say, like, it's excellent. And also, this is very much a podcast game. So for me, anyway, so right now I'm enjoying the sound. And then at some point I will be like, okay, I've gotten that lower volume, put on headphones, and just grind out all the things. By the way, the other thing I love, there, reviews. I'm echoing reviews, which was like, hey, usually the time between runs is the downtime that is like less interesting and kind of like, hey, I'm just kind of getting my shit together so I can go back to the fun part of the game. And Ball Pit solves that by making the city town building thing really engaging and really interesting and really fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm surprised. I mean, well, maybe not surprised is the right word, but I saw a couple of people that were like, "This part's boring," and I was like, "I don't think it's boring. I think it's awesome. Like, I like the contrast."
It's really good contrast, and there's gameplay. Hades it's in a class of it by itself because the characters that you get to talk to and interact with in the between the runs are like just they're so engaging
They're so
and
rich,
wonderful and rich,
and it's all about story, right? This
and
is
it's all
not
about
about
story.
story. Story does not matter here, which is great.
Yes. And so I'm saying that not to knock Hades, but like when I play games like this, I don't want to slow down and hear a story. I want to get back
Mhm.
to the grind as soon as possible. And so there's
Yeah.
gameplay to be had on the in-betweens here. And then what was the last thing I was going to say about this gosh darn game? Um, oh, everyone's trying to find the analogous games, and I heard it put very well of like Space Invaders plus Vampire Survivors plus Breakout or Arkanoid, because that's
Mhm.
the way that it differs from a Vampire Survivors is like that's about sort of the weapons automatically going, and this is very interesting to me. And when I played the demo, I really didn't get it. I actually did not understand the ball bouncing mechanic because
Mhm.
your character can move wherever they want, and
Right.
you control the aim of the balls. The balls go out, they do damage. If you catch the balls based on their trajectory, you can then just reshoot them. If you
Right.
don't catch the balls, they go back to the bottom of the screen and then instantly return to you. So there is
Mhm.
like an additional layer of strategy where it's like, I'm lining up to shoot this guy because he's really coming down and will damage me if he gets to the bottom. But I'm also
Right.
lining myself up to like rebound the balls faster so that I can shoot faster. Because if I'm not lining them up, I have to wait longer for them to like come back around. And
Right.
there are also there are experience gems on the board that you need to get to level up. There's gold on the board, as you alluded to, or also, and there are enemy projectiles shooting at you.
Right, which get
So I'm
worse as you get later into it, and especially
exactly.
when you get to bosses. So,
I'm actually
but
having a slight readability issue at times, and maybe that's actually by design. Where I am, there are I'm finding that I'm like, I got to catch these balls because that's how I do the most DPS. But oh god, is this a ball? Is this an arrow? Is this an enemy? Like,
right,
where am I standing, and what is this thing coming towards me, and where am I moving to either avoid it or intercept it? And that is the chaos of the game. But
yes,
I have to train my brain to like to know that like, hey, these red fire arrows are to be avoided, and
right,
this red fire ball, which does fire damage, is my ball, and I
is
want to get it
yours.
back. So don't run away from the big red fireball. Do run away from the little red arrow things, which are not balls because they're arrows. It's a little too much, and I gotta just really get my head around it sometimes. But
Yeah. No, there's a lot happening. I totally get that. Like one thing that I realized because it the first few times I played, I spent a lot of time just shooting up because my
yeah,
brain was like, we're
totally.
playing were was that how Arkanoid was, where you're shooting up, or was that
You
no
didn't
Space
have
Invaders,
so
where you're
right
shooting up?
that's the thing. Space Invaders shoots only up and you're moving side to side. Arkanoid, you're ping-ponging the ball, but you don't have direct control. This mashes it all together where you can move
Right.
anywhere, you can shoot anywhere, and you're rebounding the ball like Arkanoid.
Right.
It's
And
wild.
one thing I started doing that I saw success with in the early parts, although I don't know if it'll be good in the later parts, is that I try to kind of, like, when you have a mass of enemies coming down, I
Yes.
try to kind of cut a hole in there
Yes.
somewhere and then
Yeah.
send the ball into the hole to get it to
Totally. Yeah.
do all its thing on the inside. And
Right.
that seems to work really well, but you do have to do it on time, and you do have to make sure that while you're doing that, you don't have too many coming down on whatever your
Exactly,
other
because
side is.
it's like, so is the strategy about destroying the lowest enemies as fast as possible, or is it about maximizing the ball bouncing?
Right.
Because if you do your strategy and you're bouncing it up a corridor, that means all your balls are in play, which means you have nothing to shoot when enemies start to get lower. And so I'm finding when I do that, what you're saying, I don't have enough ammo to deal with the most urgent threat. And then I'm like scrambling to get
Right.
back down. And I think that's excellent. I think that's an excellent sort of, it's a very
Yeah.
active game. It's not like Vampire Survivors where you're just trying to stay
No,
alive. You have to be moving in very
a
particular
lot.
patterns.
One thing I did notice, and if you go to the Steam page, you'll see it. So, Kenny Sun, the developer, who apparently is just one guy, is
Right.
playing it, on that little thing on the
Yeah,
very
the
top
like
of
the
the
little
page.
live module or whatever.
Yeah, and he gets up in it. Like, when I play, I tend to
Interesting.
hang back
Hang back.
from the pack a little bit to give myself a little space so they can't hit me. He is like right up on them, and I'm like, interesting. Well, you made this, so obviously, if you made this, not to say that's the only way you can play, but like, I just find it very interesting that that's the way he
But
plays.
maybe
So I
he's playing it with a specific build. There are balls that are like, this is a ghost ball that will move through enemies instead of bouncing off them. But then when it hits the back of the play field, it will bounce
right,
back and hit your enemies in the back, which then, if you have a certain dagger or whatever item that amplifies damage from the back, you start to have these builds where you're shooting through enemies and then hitting them from behind because you're bouncing off the back wall. And
right,
so that affects where and how you move on the playing field. It's a radically different movement style than, hey, I'm just pummeling this dude right in the face until he's dead.
right. Well,
It's great.
so he is playing with the first character you unlock, not the
Mhm.
knight, but the one right after
The
that.
next
And
one,
he
the
is
sheriff
playing
or something.
like, yeah, he's only got like a few things unlocked. So he's
Right.
playing very early.
Early.
So it's interesting, right? Like, to just see, like the way he plays. I've never played quite so close up on the enemies before.
Right.
So it's making me think maybe I'll try that just to see what happens. Because like I said, there's so little coverage of it as far as like YouTubers, or there's probably people streaming it, and that would be interesting to watch. But just to see and have people start being like, oh my god, like this build is killer. Like, I saw one guy he played like 10 hours of the demo, the video I watched earlier today, and he was like, oh yeah, it's really killer to do like a lot of baby balls. And then
Okay, right.
and I was like, interesting. I wasn't sure if that would really work, but I guess he seemed to think it absolutely did. So I was like, okay, I'll be interested to see people talking about like strategies as far as what works for them with builds. But
It's one
yeah.
of those games where as you unlock weapons and items, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this would be amazing if I had this, this, and this. But at this moment, I don't know what I have, so I don't know how to make this build. But you can clearly see, like, dude, this would be epic if certain things fall into place. And
For
yeah, we're just
sure.
waiting to see how the community kind of sketches that
Mm-hmm.
out. Yeah, again, just talking about it here makes me want to, like, we have no plans this evening, so that's gonna be what we do tonight for
Fantastic.
sure.
It has overwhelmingly positive reviews, and it's been out for one day. So good for him. Love that. Love seeing that. But yeah, it'll be fun to try some new approaches.
As
So
the industry continues to burn, let's just again say Expedition 33, Megabonk, Ball Pit, Hades 2. There was another indie that was like, this sold 1 million copies in 2 days. Like just like these banger hits where
Megabonk
these,
sold a bunch of copies, didn't it?
yeah, they got to 1 million in about a
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Like these small or solo devs who have worked for some number of years to make these extraordinary games, and then boom, millionaires, multimillionaires overnight in a week. And
I
I'm
love
not
it.
saying that because it's about money or capitalism, but it's like this this contrast of like huge studios don't know how to ship functional games, and they cost $70 and they suck and they don't sell, and then we lay everyone off and we're closing the studio and oh my god, blah blah blah. And then here's these just like massive successes that are critically acclaimed, fans freaking love them, they're $20, and we are eating for days here with the 2025
Days,
slate.
months,
Months, easily.
months. I mean, God, I'm so backed up. I'm guilty about games. Like,
yeah. It's been one of those months. October is a big one. All right, we're gonna leave it here because I should probably feed my children and myself at some point. You
make
have
sure they don't
cats.
leave with iPad Man. Like, you know.
Oh my god, could you imagine? He was very nice, but like,
Oh, I'm sure, but I mean,
you're
it's
just
just
waiting
awkward,
at the
right?
door
It's like, what do you
to sell
do?
me solar panels. For video viewers, there are cat tails moving behind Colette's head, just like wandering around in the background,
whole
waiting to be
cat,
fed.
like right here.
See, I
but
saw a
he's
black
pissed.
tail, but here's a white one. Great.
Yeah, he's pissed. He's pissed because he's been sleeping. He's been sleeping on a pad next to my computer for like 6 hours now, and I just grabbed him without no warning. He's like, "What in the fuck, Mom?"
Feed those
So,
cats. I'm gonna try to see if we can find some pizza around these parts. That might be our
Ooh,
plan
that
for
sounds
this
good.
evening.
Yum.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tickling the likes and subscribes and comment buttons on the YouTube video if you're watching this there. And yeah, we're gonna get out of here. I can play the music while we look at more Ball Pit. I'm gonna play you off here on some Ball Pit. Thanks for listening, and we will talk with you in 1 week's time. Product placement. You know you want to buy that book.